You guys remember this is your aquaponics system, right? Aquaponics. And it has to do with the fish. And do you guys remember what they do in the water? They create, yes? Starts with an A. Ammonia. Yeah, the fish are creating something called ammonia in the water. That's when they're doing their thing in the water. And then that gets pumped up. You guys, there's a pump. And it gets pumped up into our grow bed. You guys see the water's constantly pumping, right? And then it goes through this little hole and back down into our fish tank, right? So it's just a cycle. It's constantly cycling water. What happens is we have our plants and they're sitting in these net cups. I'll just show you guys. These are the net cups. And do you remember what's inside of these things? Well, there are seeds going to be in there, yeah. These are like rocks. They're called expanded clay pellets, right? And they have a lot of surface area, and they're very porous. And so that's so bacteria can easily live on there, and the bacteria, you remember it eats the ammonia, and it turns it into plant food. It turns it into nitrates. What we're trying to show you is that nature always provides the most efficient way to do something, okay? It was nature that decided how to do this so that bacteria would eat the ammonia and turn it into plant food. There was native people that were like 800 years ago that had this figured out. You know, they grew their plants on rafts and they floated them on the water and they had fish in the water and they grew and they went beside the rafts with canoes and they picked their food off of the rafts. It grew really tall. Isn't that neat? Those were called chinampas, and it was the Aztecs that were doing that about 800 years ago.
If we eat the fish, then we won't have fish to,
Exactly. Well, what we have to do is have little fish coming up to replace them. So we become fish farmers, right? So it's a cycle. And if you want to have fish, you're right about that. If you ate all your fish, you wouldn't have any ammonia, right? So you have to plan it out. You'd only maybe eat 2 or 3 of your fish and let them get bigger and then introduce some smaller fish, and when they get bigger, put them in the tank. Nature always comes up with the best way of doing something, and when we copy it, we call it biomimicry. There's an interesting new word for you guys, biomimicry. And when you say mimic, do you know what mimic means?
Mm-hmm. It means copy.
It means to copy, right? And bio, do you know biology, right? That's living things. So copying living systems.
Boys and girls, can you give Roland a big round of applause?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.